Welcome to the Go Dyslexia webinars, where dyslexia experts share strategies, technology, products, and more. And now, your strategy and product guru, Dr. Erica Warren.
I am so pleased to welcome back Stan Gloss, who joins me in a demonstration of Voice Dream Reader, as well as a discussion about the many benefits of this text-to-voice technology for individuals with dyslexia. This episode of the Go Dyslexia podcast is brought to you by GoodSensoryLearning.com. Teachers and educational therapists can bring delight to learning with an ever-expanding selection of entertaining, multisensory educational lessons, games, and cognitive remedial tools that are designed to empower all learners of all ages. Okay, this is Stan and Erica again, and we're back to show you a demonstration of how you can hook up Bookshare to Voice Dream Reader.
Erica, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to share my iPad with you. So I'm going to just share my screen here. And click. And there's my iPad. So the first thing you have to do to get going is you actually have to go to your app store. It doesn't matter whether you're doing a Mac or iPad, iPhone, or any of the Android tablets or smartphones. Voice Dream Reader works for both. I already have it going, so it's already open, but what you would do is you would download it and then open it up. So what I'm going to do...
I don't know, how much is it? Is it $9.99? Sometimes they have it on sale, but it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's not very expensive to buy it. I think there's a bundle that Winston has that combines a couple of other technologies, and we'll go through and I'll tell you some of the things. The other thing you should do when you buy it is also get some of the voices. So we'll go through that. So when you download your Voice Dream Reader onto your tablet, you can actually go in, click here, what's new, and it will tell you. And right down on the bottom, you have this little red arrow. And this will tell you all about the latest generation. So all you have to do, down at the bottom, there's a little red arrow. I'm gonna
Version 4.0.3 brought back the legacy web browser for continuity. Still, please try to use the Safari Save extension instead. It's now easier and faster.
So now you can see, Erica, this is how my tablet now reads to me. So there's all kinds, you can skip ahead. There's all kinds of controls that you can have. But one of the first controls I think is really important is under the audio settings, you can see that you can adjust the rate. What I would do is start at about 200 words a minute. And then as you start using it and get comfortable, you know what you find, Erica, is that your eyes now get used to watching the cursor move. And now your eyes are now looking at the word ahead. So instead of looking at the yellow word, you're now looking at the words ahead because you're getting faster. What you do each time you get ahead, you just hit this little plus key. And it's amazing. Within a month's time, I was actually almost up to 400 words a minute, and my eyes and listening together could keep up. This is kind of like a feeling like it's a treadmill for your eyes. As you get more and more comfortable with it, you
can read more in less time.
Yes, I'll show you. So the other thing is that down here there are other, you can
How did you get there?
So just under the audio settings, it says voice. So it gives you some voices. I'm going to click Manage My Voices. And you can actually shop and buy voices here. So if you want to come in and you want different styles, they have all kinds of accents. So, and you can see different voices have different prices. So there's the Australian. So down here, the one I typically like for a male voice is I like Paul. So
Can you actually click on it so we can hear a sample?
World-class natural sounding text-to-speech TTS today. You can now empower your applications with advanced speech technology using voice text.
So you can hear that voice,
Amazing.
or you can come in here. You can play Karen's voice.
Hi, I'm Karen, the female American English speech synthesis voice from Acapella.
They even have children's voice.
Hello, my name is Josh. I am one of the child's American English speech synthesis voices from the Acapella Group Assistive Premium Voices collection.
The voices are very good. I used to use Learning Ally. A lot of people use Learning Ally.
Has actual people reading it.
Yeah, so again, hearing these voices, they're very, very good for computer-generated voices, and it doesn't bother me at all. But some people may find that they prefer a natural human reading voice.
Right. And that's what Learning Ally is for.
And that's what Learning Ally is. That's the difference.
Ally offers the exact same thing as Bookshare, but they have human people reading the books. Some people complain that, but they don't like their voice, or they don't like the tonation that they read it in, and that's why I personally prefer the computerized voices, and you adjust to them pretty quickly, and they do have a large variety so that you can pick what works for you.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go through every feature. I'm going to show you the features that I use quite a bit. When you were looking at the cursor going across, you can control the fonts. So I can make my font bigger or smaller. So if I want to see less words per page, I can adjust the line spacing. I can make that 1. And I can adjust the side margins and everything I need to know to get my page the way I like to see it. Some people get confused when they see too many words on the page. What I do in that situation is I just increase the font and make it bigger, and it's less confusing. So
the other thing that's really nice is that if you take your fingers and you pinch the screen, it will darken. Can you actually do that on
Sure.
Web page using the Safari Save extension. Filter now displays the active folder or content source name. Localized for Hungarian and Bulgarian. We're now localized in 26 languages.
So that's you can have, if you want to just focus your eyes on the center of the screen and not get confused. That's a nice way to read. But I find, Erica,
how did you do that?
I actually just take your fingers and make like the pinching like that. So
that's what brings the black background.
Let me do it again for you. So that's that goes like that. And then when I stretch out, I stretch it back out again.
Right.
It's just that simple. So your audio settings are here. Your display settings are here. So now, let's go back to the main screen. If you want to look at them in a list format, or you want to look at them in kind of book view.
And how did you do that?
Right on the bottom of the screen, there's the little icon in the middle, right above the button that changes the home button on your iPad or tablet. I'm switching right at the bottom.
Yep.
Between the views. Now there's a little gearbox here, and you can have the option, which I haven't set up now. If you have iCloud and you have a Mac, you can actually click sync here. And what that will do is that will connect up all of your device with iCloud. So it'll take all of your settings, all of your books, store them in iCloud. And I do this all the time because what happens is sometimes I don't want to take my tablet with me, but I'm sitting on a commuter bus or a train or something. I didn't bring my iPad with me, but I have my phone and I want to continue reading my book. This allows you to move your books from your screen on your Mac to your iPhone to your tablet and always keep them in sync. So wherever you left the book off, it'll pick up with each different device, save it, and then the other thing you can do is you can synchronize your library here, and you can manage my voices and your content sources. So where it says content sources, this is where you really hook everything up. So here I'm in Bookshare. I'm going to see what that information. That's my account, so that's all set. So all of my information is set up in Bookshare. What will happen the first time is when you go in here and you have Bookshare not pressed, it will prompt you to give you your username and password. And once you enter it there, but you can see I'm getting information from my cloud storage, iCloud. I have a Dropbox account that I can do. My Google, I haven't set up Google Drive. This links to Evernote, and we'll talk about Evernote in a future technology brief. But I love going from here into Evernote. So that VoiceStream Reader becomes the way I collect the data. Say I'm doing research for a project. This is the way I collect the data using VoiceStream Reader. And then I export. I'll show you the export function.
But how do you collect the data?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. But first, before we do that, Erica, let me show you. I'd like to then go back and now go into Bookshare and show you how to search and add a book into Bookshare. So again, let's go back and take a look at our example of Harry Potter. So I want to go find a Harry Potter book. Now it's going to give me all of the books. This is going to search every title and look for everything that's Harry Potter.
And how did you find that again?
Yep. So basically, what you did, let me start again. Up in the top left corner, there's a plus. You hit the plus key.
Ah, okay.
Up in the top left. And it tells you all the sources of where you can get information from. So now I'm going to
So if I had a PDF in Dropbox, then it could actually...
Absolutely. I do that all the time. So yeah, if you get I get reports at work that I have to read. I prefer reading all of my long documents in this format. It's so much better. So again, I'll go back again, and and this time, let me see if I can find the one. Maybe it will do this. I'll try. I'm looking specifically for the first book, The Sorcerer's Stone, and I got it. So now, if you click on the title, it tells you all the information. Remember that information that you needed for the requesting a book in Bookshare? It all gets captured right there when it's in the Bookshare system. There's the numbers, the dates, all that information comes in. So let's go back, and there's a little icon to the right-hand side that looks like a cloud and a download. So I'm going to download the book, and bang, it's telling me it's already done. And now if I lead out here, this book will, as soon as it's done, you'll be able to open it up, and there you go. So let's go into the book. So what happens, you can go in here, you see your book comes up. It just gives you all the notices. And again, they have to give you these notices saying, because you're getting the PDF version of a book, and they're asking you not to share it. This is copyrighted material, and this is such an amazing service for us that we must respect the rights of the authors not to share or do it. So down in this lower left-hand corner, Erica, is
I want to say, to bounce off of what you just said there, the reason why people with disabilities can use this at a reasonable fee is because of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and and that they consider this to be a reasonable accommodation. And a reasonable accommodation makes the print more accessible to those with disabilities. And that's why they can have it either free or at a discounted price, because it's considered a reasonable accommodation.
Yep.
Right.
So what I did is down at the bottom, there's the little 3 dots. I'll press it again so you can see it down in that bottom left corner.
Yep.
That brings you up the locations. So there's the contents. And if I want to go to chapter 1, I can go right into chapter 1 here.
Chapter 1. The boy W.H.O. lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, of number 4, for the tribe, were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the...
So you can start reading. And again, I showed you could speed this up, slow it down. You could take, if you don't like the white on the line, my problem is tracking. So I prefer having the line that I'm looking at and the word that's being said simultaneously there. It allows me to focus my eyes exactly where I need to be. So this is a big help for me.
Hey Stan, can you show how you can change the color?
The color of
all the colors, the background, the highlight, and the line.
Sure. So we can go into.
Well, there's a preset too.
Yeah. So you can have light. You can actually do it at dark, and I can change the words that way. Or we can do a custom setting where you can come in here and change the highlight to this one, and you can really design this specifically for the colors that are easiest for your eyes to take a look at.
Yeah, which is great, and it's nice because a lot of people find that color overlays or even these tinted lenses are really helpful. Now you don't have to worry about that because you can tint the text to whatever you want.
Yep. So I'm going to go back to my normal screen, and now we're into how you read a book. One of the things I use all the time is the ability to highlight. So if you want to press, you can.
Now, how did you get there? How did you get to the highlighting?
So all you're doing is just putting your finger on the word that you want to highlight and press. And it just comes up right.
And that menu bar comes up if you just hold your finger on the word.
Yeah, you just hold your finger up and then you can drag. So if you're doing research and you want to take a piece of information, this is the equivalent of having that yellow highlighter in your hand when you're doing the book. And you know how you fill up those books with highlights?
Yeah.
This is the digital version of having a highlighter. So then I say highlight.
But it's also cool because I can see that there's a whole menu of things that you can do. So
absolutely.
Highlight, you can even define a word.
Yep, and you can even get to the point at the end here where you can actually, if you don't like the word, the way it's pronounced, you can actually go in and type the word the way it sounds, not the way it's spelled. It'll pronounce it the way you phonetically said it.
Oh, that's really interesting. So you can also add notes as well. So if you had notes like a thought or an annotation about something, you could actually add that as well.
Yeah, it's this. This to me, compared to every other reader, this ability to do this highlighting, if you're doing research for papers or other things, this is so valuable. I can't even.
How do you collect all the information that you highlight?
Yeah, so now let's go. I'm going to show you where that is. Remember where we saw the chapters? That bottom left-hand corner right here. I'm going to press the lower left corner.
Right.
You can either do bookmarks, but my highlights are right there. So there's my highlight. So if I want to go back to an area that I've highlighted, it collects all of my highlights.
Now, how can I save those somewhere else?
Yep. So to save those, you go up here and you can either share them, edit them, or what I do is I export them. So now it gives you plenty of choices. You could save it and email them to myself. And what it will do is it'll send you an email.
Right. And then I guess you can save it wherever you want.
And then from there, you get the text file of all your highlights, and then You could drop them into a Word file. You could do whatever you want. This is the point at which I take these highlights and I move them over to Evernote. So I think that this is one of the awesome features that I like. But I wanted to also jump back and go back into one of the other things that you had asked me about, which is the type reading mode. So right here, up in the top, right next to the button with the arrow, which was our export button, is the reading settings. So you can have timers, how much time you've been reading, if you were trying to track how long.
Or with the kids, it's great because sometimes the teacher says read for 20 minutes.
You can control it by saying stop at the end of a sentence. I typically read the whole document, keep going, repeat the document, or now under here, this is the mode called finger reading. So I'm going to select that a second. And now I'm going to go into finger reading mode. So what you're doing here is you're taking your finger.
MR.
So we can't see you, but actually what Stan is doing is he puts his finger underneath the word and it will read it. And it will read it at the pace that you choose.
Number 4. Privet. Drive. Word. Proud. To. Say. That. They.
And what I like about this is it's great for beginning readers.
Absolutely. I mean, you could take from Bookshare. Bookshare allows you to bring first grade books, second grade books, whatever books that you want. So you can actually.
And the beautiful thing is now they have it set up so even the pictures come. So like this book doesn't have any pictures, but books that do have pictures, now you can see the pictures. And that's a new thing that the author just integrated into this.
Yeah, and what you would do is, right now this is just in plain text, but in this visual setting, it would say original versus plain. And up there, if you select it right there, that's where you get it's almost it's a carbon copy of the book. So it's right in the visual settings there.
Now, can you show us Pac-Man mode, my favorite?
Yep. So you go down here, it's still a visual setting. See the Pac-Man mode at the bottom?
Yeah.
I just enabled that. So now when it
They were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made rails. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache.
So, Erica, let me ask you, why is, I don't typically use that mode, but why is that a useful mode for people learning how to read? Or
a couple things. First of all, when students get visually overwhelmed by the text, it actually really helps with tracking because you can't track to the wrong line, number one. But number two, it takes away all the other text, so it focuses your attention. The other thing that's interesting about this, the author, Winston Chen, worked with a Harvard University researcher who in fact himself is also dyslexic, and they've discovered that what's great about the Pac-Man mode is that it keeps the reader slightly ahead. Words disappear a millisecond before it's said. So it keeps you just slightly ahead so that you actually are reading. And the research shows that this can actually speed up your reading ability dramatically. And then again, if you increase the speed, as Stan was suggesting earlier, that can really improve reading speed as well.
So, Erica, these are the key things that I use on a regular basis when I'm using Bookshare and Voice Dream Reader together. Yeah. I think this is a game changer for me because for me in the last year, I've read easily 50 books in the last year. That's more books than I have read in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Ever.
It can be such a great natural form of remediation too. A lot of parents can't afford a learning specialist. By using this technology, you can use it in one of two ways. Either have the student read along while they're listening, and what it does is it improves their sight word vocabulary and also improves their reading speed. So they start to, instead of sounding out words, they start to see whole words. The other way that you can do it is you can just close your eyes and listen. And then what you're able to do is visualize. Visualization is the best indicator of reading comprehension. And many students that are struggling readers aren't visualizing because they don't have the cognitive space to visualize. And this enables them to strengthen that ability so that they can learn, their brain can learn to multitask and visualize while they're reading. So it's a brilliant way to both strengthen their reading speed by watching while they're listening, or to improve their visualization capacity, which also improves comprehension.
Wow.
By just not watching and just allowing a movie to take place in their head. And that's their only job. Their only job is to create a movie in their head.
That's great. I mean, this technology is game-changing for me, and I imagine other dyslexics who really are looking for ways to keep up with their classmates, keep up with the work, and you can't do this kind of stuff with a book.
That's right.
You just can't.
And it's great for attention too, because it can help people to maintain attention as well. And then, of course, as you've shown us, it's a great way for you to be able to highlight and then pull the content out. So if you're having to write a report on a book, all your highlights will just be pulled out for you. And if you had to do a summary of the book, you could see if you'd kind of highlighted the most important things as you're reading, the summary would almost write itself.
Yeah. And the other thing I do like is I like to hear the word and see the word simultaneously. That combination for me helps cement that. It improves my comprehension significantly over just looking at the word myself and struggling to keep on the line. So it is a combination of the hearing and the tracking and the visual part of it. It's really a true multisensory experience.
Well, the beauty of it is it takes the decoding out of it. And it's the decoding that's uncomfortable for people that struggle with reading. So if the decoding is taken out of it, all of a sudden we're relieving you of that responsibility so that you can focus on the content.
So that's my demo today, Erica. I suggest anybody who's struggling with any kind of reading, doesn't matter how old or you are, this is amazing technology that really will make reading so much more enjoyable.
I agree. All right, well, thanks for the demonstration, Stan.
All right, take care.
Thanks for watching the Go Dyslexia webinars, where experts share strategies, technology, products, and more. If you want to check out our video podcasts, blog posts, and resources, go to godyslexia.com. Be sure to sign up for Dr. Warren's newsletter and follow us on social media.